22.2 is here. We're gonna give you a warm-up, a demo, and some tips depending on your athletic level.
Disgusting.
It hurt pretty bad like 3 minutes in. And I was like wanting to do burpees faster, but I was like, you have so much time left. And then it got to a point where it was just, you're trying to just stop your burpees from slowing down by keeping moving. So just keep it in your head that like, you can always keep moving on a burpee. It's gonna hurt. The dads break up as you need, but just try to keep the burpees constant.
I would say it started to get out of my comfort zone already in like the 5-6s. I started to have to push a little faster than I like wanted to, but it hurt on the 10. For me, it was the deadlifts on the 10s, and the burpees got me on the back end at like 8-7, like going back down. That's when the burpees got pretty hard.
Oh, right. This is Mike's favorite combination.
I'm pretty sure that they're both really excited about this.
Yeah.
Mike really wanted burpees in one of these workouts. So the first couple rounds are going to be super fast, no matter who you are. Like even if you're pacing this 1, 2, 3, and 4, we'll just you'll go through them super quickly.
Yeah.
But I think that if you watch the other people go, Medeiros did a really good job of kind of keeping a nice smooth pace all the way up to 10, and then that's when you can kind of gear up or gear down.
Yeah, for most people, this is, just got to be realistic. This is a 10-minute AMRAP.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a 4-time workout. The elites, you saw the females like in, I think the mid-9s was Laura Harbat finishing, and Emma Lawson got capped. And then the guys were like 8 and mid-8s. And we've already had some scores that are a little bit under that for males. But I think that 100 deadlifts and 100 burpees, for most people, this is just, you know, you go as far as you can into the workout.
Yeah, I agree. I think a good RX score, they're still not going to finish. But there will be some, again, that are. And so if you're someone that's really good at burpees and deadlifts, and you can take a risk on this and kind of see how far you can get. I think one of the things that people need to think about, though, is their burpee technique before they get started. This is one that the step up really makes sense. If you try to do a 2-foot jump to be fast, that's just going to be really tough on your low back and especially your breathing muscles as you try to hinge both with the deadlift and the burpee. So I would play around with the step up.
Yeah, so we're at the 120, and now Mike is in the round of 6, Brandy's in the round of 6. So that just gives you some sort of perspective that these earlier rounds are not really where the crux of the workout is. And you're going to be going back and forth. It's not going to really feel heavy. When you start having to do sets of 7, 8, 9 burpees after deadlifting, I think that's where the real separation is going to be, where burpee cadence starts to really matter.
Yeah, and that's what we saw too with the other demos. I mean, those were all games level athletes, and their burpee cadence and their deadlift cadence slow down those 8, 9s, and 10s. And that's where if you can hang tough, then you're going to be much better off.
Yeah.
One of the things you saw them do is singles. This may work for some people. I would say if you want an elite level score, you're going to have to do touch and go reps, but singles make sense for a lot of people.
Mike is doing 3s now, so we're in the set of 7. I think Brandy did 3 as well, and now she's doing some singles. I think this is going to be a good strategy also for people that do get their backs blown up, because you're just getting rid of the eccentrics. Sorry, one thing I wanted to talk about again quick is burpee technique. So Brandy is doing the, you know, full step up and kind of go over in one thing, whereas Mike's taking an extra step when he's going over the bar, or he's stepping back like he's doing there. So just be mindful of the fact that you're trying to figure out some sort of a burpee cadence that you can sustain for the whole workout, and try to sustain it for the whole workout, because losing time is oftentimes, you know, extra steps on the other side of the bar.
For sure. If it were me, I would tell Mike to just go ahead and drop down, and if he has to take a rest, either just stand up and rest so that he can breathe, or rest on the ground. But for him, he likes to regulate his heart rate by almost slowing himself down with a step back. The only thing I would tell our audience is that means your arms are locked out, you're putting more tension on them for longer. I just don't think that that's as wise as maybe getting down to the ground faster.
Yeah, so I think it's just going to be dependent. And Mike just went back to the drop, so I don't know if he has oh, that was something too. Mike just hit the bar. On this workout, one of the standards now is if you do hit the bar, you're getting no reps. So just be mindful of that when you're picking your feet up over the bar. The
other thing though is that you can jump over, as long as both feet are getting over the bar, you don't have to have a 2-foot takeoff, which is, I mean, look,
which is
no one ever
needed this standard.
Well, no one was ever really getting off of 2 feet. It just wasn't happening. We've paused videos from people in the past. So this is a much better standard, but to keep that in mind.
I think Brandy now is in the round of 8. So her burpee speed, I think, is where she's starting to separate a little bit from Mike. Mike's still moving the barbell pretty well, but there's a lot of deadlifts and a lot of burpees left.
Well, I think that's something that Mike's cognizant of. Is he knows if it was just 1 to 10, he would be a really good athlete because he can sprint that, but he knows he has to go back down, so he's being a little bit more cautious.
Yeah. So these single deadlifts, I think, are the strategy. Now it'll be interesting to see, are they going to maintain this single strategy from now until the finishing kick, or for now until the end of the workout, or is it going to be something where they intermix touch and go?
Yeah, the one way that I think that this would work is kind of what they're doing. They're doing 3 touch and go and then singles. I would probably say even try to do a little bit more than that, especially as you get to 8, 9s, and 10s. If you're going to do singles, maybe it's 5 and then 4 singles and then 5 and then 5 singles, just so that you can keep a faster cadence. But again, if your back blows up on deadlifts, then the single may be a good strategy for you.
So is it, in your perspective right now, since we haven't seen that many people do this workout, is this going to be more of a deadlift workout for people or more of a burpee workout for people?
I think it's both. Like, I don't know if there's a way around it. 100 burpees is a lot, and 100 deadlifts will be a lot. Most people aren't training that much deadlift volume. Most people are training that many burpees. So in a regular week, like in our program, TDD Compete, they're easily doing over 100 burpees in a week. We usually kind of change the deadlift volume from week to week.
50 to 75 is probably an average, like, high volume deadlift day. So 100 is definitely pushing the threshold.
Yeah.
If people getting into like the rounds of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the back end, you're still talking about doing well over 80 deadlifts.
For sure.
So it's a lot, especially if people's 1RMs are, you know, Mike is still really strong relative to the field. He's not as strong as he ever was, but it probably still deadlifts over 500 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Brandy is probably deadlifting somewhere in the low to mid 3s. So they're pretty strong athletes, I think, relative to the field of intermediate and RX athletes. So that just gives a perspective. If they're doing singles at this point, breaking the deadlifts up might be a viable and necessary strategy for people.
Yeah, I agree. If you ask me, though, where the separator is, I think the burpee can still be the bigger separator. You can see that as the difference between Brandy and Mike right now. Their deadlift cadence is actually pretty similar, but his burpees, Mike's burpees, are just a little bit slower than Brandy.
Yeah, we were supposed to have people giving us an update as to where they are, and we've been talking, and now I don't know exactly where they are.
That's okay.
I'll see when we'll see when she finishes deadlifts. 8, so she's on 9. Is she on 9 on the way down or up is really the question.
We will find out. It's hard to talk and watch at the same time. I mean, we're both men. We're pretty stupid, let's be honest.
I could do one thing at a time. So now, just as a cadence map, Mike did singles and then a double. Let's see how long his rests are. About 4 seconds between the single and double, and 4-5 seconds between that. So it might give you a model as an intermediate or RX type athlete. If you're doing 1 rep on the 3 to 5 seconds, could be a target for you if you're doing singles. I don't know though, because I feel like sometimes the easier part of deadlifting is the rebound of the second rep. So maybe doing sets of 2 or 3 might be better than doing singles. Not really entirely sure yet.
If I do this workout, I would try to do touch and go reps, whether that's unbroken or not.
Are you gonna try?
I don't know. We'll see. But either way, I think it makes much more sense to just do, sets of 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is for the athlete. But again, like, if this is something that Mike knew that his back would blow up, and he's not great at hinging into a burpee, so that's why he chose the single strategy.
So Mike is finishing up at 8 deadlifts on the way back down the ladder. So this gives you some sort of perspective as to where she's going to finish. Probably not the whole workout because we got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, but she'll be somewhere in that descending set, maybe around the 4s or 3s would be a good target.
One of the things I would say, think about the clock and know where you're at, because if you get to 5, then really that 4, 3, 2, and 1 will go by really fast. Like we said on the way up, they were at the set of 5 in 1 minute and 30 seconds. So it can, if you have something left in you, then try to push that last minute and a half or 2 minutes.
And that also, I think, because you can do the round of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 so quick, I think it's very easy to redline in a workout like this. So I think have a pacing mindset in that even though those sets are going to go really fast, maybe a little bit of an extra transition second on, like when you finish the deadlift and burpee, take a breath before your next deadlift. Even though it doesn't feel like you have any fatigue yet, you're going to be at 15 to 20 reps of each of these movements really quick, and you're only 20% into the reps.
To go back to it, I think that Medeiros did a really good job of that, where like he is the fittest man in the world right now, and he paced that for all the way up to 10. He looked smooth the entire time. Now his smooth is just because he's super fit, but he wasn't doing a sprint, so I think that's probably a good way to start.
So we're about 1 minute 15. You can hear Mike grunting from here. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but these deadlifts are definitely getting hard. I think just back, heart rate, but it's just going to be hard no matter what at this point in the workout, which means that your finishing kick, if you're ending here, should probably be sprinting burpees wherever you can be, because you're not going to be able to do deadlifts faster at this point in the workout, most likely.
I really like that. Wherever you're at, even if you know you're going to get back to the deadlift, sprint this set of burpees that you're on, and just get back to the deadlift and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of the one opportunity that you'll have to save time. So like in this set, Mike should probably be pushing the pace of the burpees, which he actually looks like he is relative to the pace he was at before. And Brandy looks like she's going through a finishing kick right now as well.
A couple things when you are sprinting. Again, the step up will help. Stay low to the bar. Mike's kind of getting vertical. Part of that's because he needs to breathe, but staying low will help.
So see, they got back here, and it's not like you can touch and go at this weight. Hear everyone screaming in the background right now.
15 seconds left. Wow, Brandy is touching and go.
So she's definitely getting after it at this point. There's 10 seconds left. Wow, very well done by Brandy there. And Mike is sprinting as well. Oh,
he did the look-see.
Time.
Great job by them. All right.
Very good.
Let's go to that whiteboard.
All right. This workout is a couplet, so I'm going to talk about each movement independently for each level of athlete, and then kind of give you some targets and general tips relative to where you are as an athlete. For the deadlift, my 3 tips would be: 1, set a breaking target. So most people in this workout will start out with doing unbroken sets on the deadlift through a specific period of time. For an elite individual athlete, potentially that means they're doing the whole workout unbroken, but you can actually break the deadlifts and still put up an elite score. So maybe give yourself a target like I'm trying to go up through the 10 unbroken or up through the 6 unbroken, and make sure that you know where you intend on breaking up the deadlifts. Second would be transition to that first set of deadlifts quick from the burpees. Now, it doesn't need to be like max effort speed if you're an intermediate athlete. I've watched some elite athlete individuals go and they finish their burpees, are on the other side and go right down for the deadlifts. That might be a bit aggressive for an RX or an intermediate athlete, but think about that transition being quick, because you can lose a lot of time moving into that set. Whereas after you finish the deadlifts, it's kind of easy to just fall into your first burpee. That transition to the deadlifts is going to be where a lot of people lose precious seconds in the workout. Finally, I would say singles as a fallback plan. So we watch Mike and Brandy utilize singles in this workout, but I honestly think that pulling from a dead stop on every rep potentially wasn't really the best strategy. I think trying to couple the reps into 2s and 3s with short breaks, but still something substantial enough that you can go, might be better, because you get a little bit of that rebound effect from the plate actually hitting the ground. So I would say only go to singles if you're at the point that you're blown up and you need to be able to just pull and drop and pull and drop. Otherwise, I think breaking into 2s and 3s can get you through this workout pretty well. So that's the deadlift. For the burpees, I would say the 3 things are: first, consistent footwork. For elites, that means probably step up, jump over and rotate, and then hop down right into the burpee. For people that are under that, whatever strategy makes sense for your athletic level. It could be step up, jump over, 1 step, step all the way down, step back up, jump over, and kind of repeat that. But maintaining consistency there can really help you. One of the things that you saw in the demo athletes is as they got really tired and down the back half of the workout, footwork started to change. There were extra steps on that side of the barbell, and you can really lose a lot of time by just standing around on the bar. So if you can keep consistent footwork, maybe even think about doing the reps quicker and then taking an interset rest. So in the set of 10, if you're an intermediate, maybe doing a set of 5, quick breath, a set of 5, maintaining that footwork can be a better way to actually go through the workout than thinking that you're going to start getting sloppy and kind of teeter-tottering and losing your balance on the other side of the bar.
Did you say teeter-tottering?
Teeter-tottering. I did say teeter-tottering. I don't know where that came from. I just meant like the wobbles when you're on the other side of the bar. That's teeter-tottering.
Teeter-tottering.
Second would be try to stay low. The lower you stay to the ground as you're jumping over the bar, the less distance you have to travel back down to the ground on the other side. Now, it is a little bit harder to maintain that and breathe, and people's backs are probably going to get tighter, But if you start to go into a mode where you're trying to put up a really good score, or you're getting close to the end of workout and you're trying to have a finishing kick, try to stay low and keep that cadence relatively fast. And then last would be pace appropriately. Now, an intermediate athlete, this is a 10-minute AMRAP. The elites are just getting in under the cap, which means you know you're going into this workout trying to get to a certain stage down the back half of the ladder. If you know that, try to pace yourself and pace your energy appropriately. If you are an elite individual and you're watching this, you don't really have the luxury of doing too much pacing, but do think about energy management of it still being a 8 to 10 minute long workout that's over 100 reps of 2 really difficult movements. So make sure that you're ready for the separation in this workout to be happening deep into the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minute window. So that's the 2 movements, some targets. So everyone has asked after the last open workout, where's the top 10% going to be? We can't really predict that after seeing a couple elites go and not really having a lot of data to go off of, but I wanted to give a target for you. And our target for the top 10% would be finishing the 6s, which is a little bit past where Mike was in the demo video. Now, Mike is pretty strong as an athlete relative to the intermediate population of athletes. So I put a question mark here because this could be an aggressive starting point. The reason why we selected that is Mike's first attempt last week was just about where the 10% cutoff is. He might be a little bit better relative to the field, but I still think it makes sense to push an aggressive goal, an aggressive target that we think would kind of safely get you in that 10% window. For elite individuals, we think that the males are going to be somewhere sub-9 and females just finish the workout. I think if you're in that realm, then you're going to do pretty well. And that about covers it. For deadlift, for burpees, for intermediate athletes, for advanced athletes, that's all I got. I got a question from the crowd. One more thing.
Do that warm up real quick.
All right, the warm-up we got for you is 10-minute choice aerobic prep, 2 to 3 sets of 25-foot ostrich walk, 25-foot Spider-Man stretch, 5 inchworms. Then you're going to move into specific prep. You're going to do 2 sets of 1, 2, 3 of light deadlift and bar-facing burpee, where you're kind of increasing the weight and getting up to that 225, 155 working weight. Then you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 of deadlift bar-facing burpee, 2 to 4 minute rest, then 6, 4 of deadlift bar-facing burpee, then rest, and then hit it hard. Good luck.
Teeter-tottering.